Good day, my name is Bluesuit and today I'll be going over my review of the difficult top-down dark fantasy action RPG known as Eldest Souls. In Eldest Souls you play as a lone warrior who's mankind's only hope against the spreading corruption caused by a vicious war between humans and gods. Armed with a great sword of pure obsidian, you show up to dispatch the remaining old gods who have been locked away in the ancient citadel and unravel the mysteries of the spreading corruption that is destroying the world. Eldest Souls' opening cinematic is a fantastic detailing of the events leading up to the start of the game, but I really would have loved to see more of that style of storytelling throughout the rest of the main campaign. In true Souls-like fashion, the remainder of the story is told through discovered cryptic codex entries and the occasional mad NPC that you stumble upon. It's a style of storytelling that can be intriguing, but the issue in Eldest Souls is that there's no real reason to go exploring besides looking for tidbits about the lore. This is very much a boss rush style game, so you won't be fighting anything outside of the boss rooms, and there aren't many non-story items or upgrades for you to find. The world is really well designed and haunting in many ways, from the eerie soundtrack to the creepy locations equipped with frozen cadavers and writhing tentacles. I do wish, however, that there were more reasons to explore it, and I would be equally excited to see some more great sequences like the opening cinematic in its storytelling, as the lore that's established is quite intriguing. As a boss rush Souls-like, Eldest Souls' largest draw is in its combat, and here it's really quite an impressive system in most ways. You have 3 fighting styles to choose from, with each having 2 skill trees of their own, providing a relatively large variety of ways to play. Each boss that you slay will reward you with a single skill point, and you can respec as often as you like as long as you aren't currently fighting a boss. The first fighting style, the Wind Slide, acts as Eldest Souls' high mobility ranged build. The Berserker Slash tree is a high damage, high sustain melee build, and the counter tree provides high defenses through shielding and the ability to counterattack bosses. Each boss was super unique in both form and function, and some of the skill trees are much more effective against certain bosses. In addition to skill points, each boss victory will also award you that boss's shard, a powerful artifact containing a smidge of their power that you can use in a handful of different ways. The God of Light shard, for example, houses the power of light, and depending on where it's used in your skill tree, it'll allow you to unleash light-based attacks under certain conditions. Equipping it to your dash lets you summon damaging spears of light when you dash through enemy attacks, but equipping it to your blood burst attack will fire off a beam of light when you use that ability. The various skill trees and shards provide a ton of different ways to build your character, especially since you can respec and swap shards at will. The only thing really missing from Eldest Souls in this regard is that there isn't any additional weapons or armor for you to find, equip, and upgrade. In combat, there are several resources that you'll need to manage to be successful. The first and most important is your Bloodthirst bar. Filled by landing charged melee attacks, your Bloodthirst bar will provide you with movement speed, attack speed, and precious lifesteal, one of the only means of healing in the game. It will also allow you to use Blood Burst, a high damage ability that can be risky to use and consumes all of your meter. You also have your stamina that recharges quickly. Each dash consumes one of your 3 stamina bars, and most of my deaths have been because I played a little fast and loose with my dashes, and I didn't have one ready when I really needed it. And in this game, you're never more than a few seconds away from death, so those dashes and their invincibility frames are vitally important. They aren't quite as tight as I'd hoped, however, as you can't cancel your attack animations with a dash, so you'll have to wait for the entire attack animation to complete before getting out of the way. The last 2 bars are your active shard ability that unleashes the power of the gods on a short cooldown, and your fighting style special ability. Eldest Souls does only have 9 different bosses, but each one successfully captured that Souls-like feeling where after my first few deaths, I honestly thought that I would never be able to defeat them. Then getting closer and closer each fight until I finally downed them and that familiar feeling of satisfaction came over me. The first couple bosses of the game are pushovers, but every single one after that was white-knuckle gaming that struck a delicate balance between inducing no small amount of rage in myself and always inevitably drawing me back into the fight for one more attempt. Most of the bosses have huge AoE attacks with poorly defined hitboxes, and it takes a lot of learning before you can start to feel comfortable. Each one also has more than one phase, so even after you master phase 1, there's always a much faster and more punishing phase to follow. Once you've beaten them all, you can then ascend to New Game Plus, which is really where the fun is. As I said, each boss only gives you a single skill point, so your skill tree won't even be maxed out until you're at the end of the game. New Game Plus really feels like an improvement because you can actually fight all the bosses with a full skill tree, and it adds a lot of replayability to experiment with different builds and different fights. You can pick up Eldest Souls right now on Steam, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, and Xbox for $20. It's a great sounding, great looking boss rush action RPG. It is missing quite a bit to be really called a true Souls-like, and it's really more of a Souls-light, but its fights are still fun, especially if you're used to the try, die, try again style of this genre, as you will undoubtedly die dozens of times to many of its bosses. That being said, there are only 9 fights in the game, and it's really over quite quickly, so with that in mind, I'm valuing Eldest Souls at $17, but I do recommend it to players who are interested in bullet hell Souls-lights. I hope you enjoyed this review of Eldest Souls. Come see me on Twitch where you can watch our reviews in progress 5 nights a week. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you thought about it. Until next time, peace!